Hey everyone, this is Aaron with Thrive Student Loan Advisors. Um, Today we're going to speak a little bit about the changes to federal student loans after the passage of the recent budget bill. There were there were a lot of things in there as far as federal student loans are concerned, or a lot of changes. It wasn't a lot in the bill, but there are a lot of changes to the federal student loans. So today we'll speak about that. Firstly, I'm going to say, and I'm going to say in every video that I'm in from now until July of 2026. Anyone still in a SAVE plan, that plan is gone. It is not coming back. You're wasting qualified time if you're still in SAVE, especially people that qualify for public service loan forgiveness. You need to be transitioned out of that plan sooner rather than later. A memo was first sent after the new administration came into office to the Department of Education, um, that they wanted to start letting interest accrue to those in SAVE plan. Well, the time is now. Beginning August 1st, they have announced everyone still in the SAVE forbearance, all 8 million borrowers, interest is going to begin accruing on those loans. By some estimates, for your average borrower, that'll be about another $350 a month of accrued interest. You don't want to get caught in that. The SAVE plan is gone. Um, if you're someone that's in it, you want to transition out of that plan immediately. But let's talk about the budget bill. So essentially, what happened, and most of it can be boiled down to this: all the options for the repayment of federal student loans. At one point, there were over 70 different options for repayment. Will now be whittled down to just two: a standard repayment, which is normally, not always, normally one of three of the repayment plans where you pay the most over the course of repayment, usually because of interest. Um, on average, though, not always. And the new RAP plan, the Repayment Assistance Plan. Um, the rest of the plan, SAVE, is already gone. Payee will be phased out. ICR will be phased out. And new IBR will be phased out. It will only be standard repayment. Um, and the repayment assistance plan. That will be the new income-based plan with monthly payments that are tied to your adjusted gross income as opposed to discretionary income that income-driven repayment plans are now based off of. Student loan forgiveness, which was once after 240 qualified payments or a 20-year repayment, will now come after 360 qualified payments or a 30-year repayment. Graduate students now have a lifetime cap of $100,000 on federal loans, while medical and law students have a lifetime cap of $200,000 for federal student loans. The average student loans, most people with a doctorate, once they graduate, usually with about 250,000 in federal student loans. Most people with grad degrees, and again, this is on average, this isn't everyone, usually have about 150, 100 to $175,000 in federal student loans. Um, Now they'll have to make that difference up elsewhere. Federal student loans won't be available to them. The Graduate Plus loan program is being eliminated. This is the program that graduate students, once they've exhausted their undergrad loans, they use Graduate Plus loans to pursue higher education. That will be phased out. Parent Plus loans will be capped at $65,000 and won't be eligible for certain repayment programs, meaning people with Parent Plus loans will no longer qualify for student loan forgiveness. People with Parent Plus loans will no longer qualify for public service loan forgiveness. People with Parent Plus loans will not be eligible for the new RAP plan as it stands now. Only option will be a standard repayment. This will significantly um, affect borrowers who only goal was to not allow their children to go in debt to educate themselves. Their options are limited. Their options were already limited, to be honest, with Parent Plus loans. Now they're limited even more. There's no more possibility after June 2026 of people with Parent Plus loans being able to get those loans forgiven. Now to speak about the RAP plan. It's supposed to replace the existing income-driven repayment plans. As I mentioned, SAVE plan is already gone. Payee will be phased out. ICR will be phased out. IBR will be phased out. For those borrowers with existing loans, existing borrowers prior to July 1st, 2026, they may still be able to repay their federal student loans under the old IBR. That plan, as of right now, will still be available to those already in it. You can be grandfathered into old IBRs, so to speak. As we mentioned, income-driven repayment plans used to calculate monthly payments using what the IRS called your discretionary income. It took into account your family size, not just dependent children. The new calculation would only count dependent children. I believe it was 8 years old or younger. Your monthly payments will be based on your adjusted gross income as opposed to your discretionary income. Those borrowers who are out of work or don't meet the federal guidelines for income, or whose income plus their family size qualified them for a $0 a month payment, that will no longer be a possibility. There will be a minimum $10 a month payment. There is an interest waiver, though, on the RAP plan. If your monthly payments, if the interest accrued exceeds your monthly payment, the interest will be paid by this plan. We already mentioned that forgiveness will no longer come after 20 or 25 years. Now it will be after 360 qualified payments or a 30-year repayment. There is a principal match up to $50 a month. If your monthly payment is $10, they'll match a $10 payment. If it's $40, they'll match a $40 payment up to $50 a month. There are a lot of differences between the RAP plan and current IDRs. A lot of the time with the federal government in general, people that are on Social Security can attest to this. A lot of times there are ways things are supposed to work, and then there are ways that they actually work. So we'll know more once the RAP plan is available and we're able to enroll people into it and see how it works. Another big change, I don't want to forget about this, is deferments and forbearances. There will no longer be economic hardship deferments. There will no longer be unemployed deferments, and forbearances can only be used for up to 9 months in a 24-month period. Anyone that's ever been unemployed, or your average borrower, if they experience unemployment, typically will use economic hardship deferment for the gap between when they're not working and when they gain employment again. That'll no longer be an option. But as I was saying before, once the RAP plan and these changes go into effect, we'll see how they affect borrowers more then. As always, if you have any questions about how this will affect your loans personally, feel free to schedule an appointment to have your federal student loans reviewed. There'll be a link in the description below. Thanks, and hope to speak to you soon.